Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, across our beloved Copper Empire. It's great to be in the Empire today, and you're watching Donald Holland News, the only news you'll ever need. Because you have no other choice, but it's all good. It's the only choice you really ever need to consider, because you don't want any other choices. Ain't that right? Here at AHN Donald Holland News, we got a few many things to talk about in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Cere Junda is coming to Galaxy Heroes this week. We already talked about the kit reveal. I'll give you the TLDR if you don't want to go through it again. And holy cow, Poggle the Greater is getting a nice boost, bringing the Geonosians back up to a good level of viability in Territory Wars. That's the only bad news in regards to it. And then I want to talk about something briefly towards the end. If you're struggling with relics, I figured I put this on your radar. I always talk about this every couple months just to remind people about a few things in regards to making your relic grind a little bit easier. So buckle down. Let's go talk about all this stuff that we got here today. I want to first talk about Poggle the Greater getting an Omicron for the Geonosians. Now the Geonosians, they kind of became important again, needed for Rise of the Empire for certain missions, and it's kind of one of those factions that people build up to try to get their Wat Tambor knocked off. And man, it's just Territory Wars. I don't know. Here's the thing. All right, let's be realistic. Territories is becoming more important because of Relic 9, Datacron materials being put back there, and Relic 9 is kind of important for the future functionality of the raids and as well as Rise of the Empire. Relic 9 teams. So I don't want to underestimate how important Territory Wars is, but I don't know, man. These Omicrons, if they're not granted, it's hard to get excited for them personally. And, that's where all the crystals are, and that's generally the game mode that I enjoy playing the most inside of Galaxy Heroes. Nonetheless, I digress. Let's talk about it. Let's just pretend for the moment this is for every game mode, not just for territories. You'll be a little bit more excited. So, Poggle the Lesser, unique ability upgrade. Gonna be great. Geonosian Brood Alpha is still gonna be leading the charge, but while in Territory Wars and all allies are Genos, so no Wat Tambor, no Newt Gunray's cheeky stuff in there. At the start of the battle, and the first time an ally is summoned, so bringing in the Brutes, for example, through Geonosian Brood Alpha, Geonosian allies gain Geonosian Brood. It's a little confusing. It's not the character. It's just a new status effect until the end of the battle or until they are defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And check this out. Geonosian Brood, the buff, not the character, gives 20% offense, max health, max protection, tenacity, and 10 speed for each Geonosian ally, not each other Geonosian ally. So Poggle counts themselves in this calculation, and kind of like spare parts of Shorty, when this character is defeated, revive them at 100% health and protection, excluding summons. Now, this doesn't seem like Night Sister Zombie or Shorty, where you can ignore anti-revive stuff. So you can, for example, come back after Mandalorian disintegrates you. It doesn't seem to apply here. It seems like you could still prevent the revive, but nonetheless, having Geonosian allies go get a revive a second round is pretty nuts. And look at all this. Okay. With this Omicron right here, 20% off, you're gonna have 6 Geonosians, 5 plus the 1 summon. That's a lot of offense right there. Holy cow, 120% offense. Now, I don't know about you, but there's a special character in Galaxy Heroes that sometimes I feel like goes a little unappreciated, and that's this guy right here. Geonosian Spy with their Silent Strike. Plus, they deal 40% more damage for each effect, status effect, positive and negative, dispelled. So when you combine that with Poggle the Lesser's 120% offense increase through that Omicron, that's some pretty nutty stuff. And of course, Geonosian Spy, they're gonna get a lot of turns out there, so the speed's gonna boost very well with this Hive Tactics unique ability that we have here. And then, let's look at the other factors that are in regard to this. So let's imagine this was for Grindred. I know it's not, don't shoot the messenger here, but this extra health, protection, tenacity, and speed boost would make this a lot harder for a Darth Vader to just casually solo your team. So the fact of the matter is, it is a Territory Wars, not a Grindred Omicron. Generally with Territory Wars, I don't apply an Omicron unless it's meta defining and it's gonna help the guild get it's changing the game And it's gonna be one of those tough to beat teams. Like, for example, Maraji's a very good one. Captain Phasma is pretty good. The most recent one, Droidica, really shaking things up. With General Grievous, I don't know initially if this is gonna have that type of viability that's gonna make our guild say, everyone drop what you're doing, throw this on right now. But the fact that is, a lot of people do have Geonosians built up, as we said, for a variety of reasons earlier on. Having those guilds make their Geonosians more deadly inside of territories, that's something I don't want to undermine. Putting it out there. I think this is definitely going to be better than like the Phoenix Omicron, the Jawa Omicron, but I don't know if it's going to be as good as some of the other ones like Mace Windu, Juhani, yada, yada, yada. Nonetheless, I just want to remind people, this is how the game's moving forward. I know I saw a thread the other day on Reddit, how people don't like Omicrons. I kind of understand why they're going this way. It helps them contain power creep and individual game modes. And I just want to put it this way. It can get even worse. Games like Marvel Strike Force, they do this in a way where they actually add extra conditions where while in territory wars, when using a team on offense with a certain character in play, X, Y, or Z happens. So they can technically make this even more specific of Omicron. And we're starting to see that, for example, Cal Kestis, while in territory wars, when Ahsoka's there and Ahsoka has her Omicron, do this. So we're kind of maybe heading that direction, but I just want to remind people they can definitely get a lot more specific with these Omicrons. They can make Geonosians an offense or defense only team in territories, really making it a lot more constrained to what you can do with it. So let me know what you guys think about the Geonosians. Are a lot of you guys going to apply this? I definitely think it's going to be a semi-popular Omicron just because Geonosians are such a widely adopted team out there. Next thing, we're not going to go through the whole entire kit reveal, but we have Cere Junda. I don't know why we already had the kit reveal. I'll put a card in the top right hand corner if you want a more in-depth breakdown on all this. But all they did now is they just added some pictures. So if you want to see the animations, here you go. Cere Junda is coming out later this week on Thursday. Update tomorrow on Wednesday. Character coming out Thursday. So you got to know, in case you don't know, right here in our video game division to Kyber Empire, we'll be testing out Cere Junda day one to see what they're all about and what are they about. They're creating an unaligned force user team. And the main gist of it, you want them to be slow with lots of offense, and they're going to be putting out some damage while the other team is trying to make a turn meter train on you. And that ain't going to work here. And she also has abilities that's kind of like Captain Rex's aerial advantage, where their damage is going to scale, and basically almost insta kill with them. This is kind of a neat animation right here with the determined assault Zeta here. My question is going to be this. CJ, I think they kind of missed the target. And they undermined or underappreciated or undersold how great Cal Kestis is with Rey. So far, I'm waiting for the Grand Arena data to come in. It's still a little delayed. I've been sitting here. It's like, all right, let's see this data. Unfortunately, they have not updated yet. But so far, Cal Kestis is already making a nice impact in Grand Arena, as well as territories. We're seeing Cal Kestis be thrown in with Galactic Legends Rey. All those max health boosts, as we talked about, was pretty big. The question is going to be, is Cal Kestis going to be even better in this team? And people aren't going to want to use them with Rey, because if Rey's becoming a lot harder to beat, it's kind of hard to justify it here. But of course, Cere Junda and Cal Kestis, as often as they're trying to emphasize that foundationally works well with Cal Kestis, I would say right now, Cal Kestis foundationally works well with Galactic Legends, Rey, and Ben. So that's what we're going to test out later this week. And unlike the Geonosians, this does have a Grand Arena Omicron on, as we broke down a while ago. Even more health boosts, more protection, immune ability block, and dazes. So this has my attention. I'm looking forward to this, kid. We saw how, for example, Zori Bliss took some random characters from the Resistance that aren't really great, turned them into nearly an S-tier team, in my opinion. Seeing this, Cere Junda and Cal Kestis take on things like your leftover Kylo Ren, for example. Your Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, your Scavenger Rey, making them useful in Grand Arena. That's something I want to make sure you guys know. I am excited to see that. It kind of reminds me of the old school days of Galaxies, where you just put a bunch of random characters in, kind of like Starkiller, and you made some stuff happen. Last thing I want to talk about here, this is nothing really new, but in case you're someone that's always struggling on relics, who's not struggling on relics? Even I struggle on relics, and I've been playing the game for a long time, and I spent my fair share of money on this game. Every time around the end of a Grand Arena, you got your payouts, the season's over, congratulations on making it through the off season of Grand Arena, i.e. 3v3. These packs usually come around once a month, these relic amplifier packs. And if you do want to spend your crystals, which this is one of the best crystal packs you can buy out there. Now, I would probably not spend it on this chromium transistor as well as the iridium heat sinks. Those are fairly easy to craft. For me personally, especially over on my free-to-play account, with my earnings, I'll sometimes buy these Electrum amplifiers, Electrum conductors, to help me get through all my relic requirements that we're all chasing after. Right now, I'm working on my Executor, and I need like 60 or 80 more of these. This isn't really all that bad. These are generally good value, so if you have crystals laying around, it doesn't require physical money. End of season Grand Arena payouts are always fairly good. This is the time to really spend those crystals on these packs here. I see people do it on Zibidal cards, but for me personally, I'm generally using them on the Electrum conductors since I feel like those I need a lot of. Zibidals, I usually do okay because not as many are needed compared to the Electrum conductors. Thought I'd put it out there. You guys probably already knew this, but just like the web store, people still don't know there's a web store despite how many times I put it on people's radar. Yes, people, there's a web store, free resources, free daily energy, and other resources on a daily basis. We might have to keep reminding you guys about all that. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for stopping by Arnold How the News. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys on Thursday to test out Cere Junda and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And I hope as you're gently caressing that like button, because like buttons have feelings, don't smash it. Hope you guys always know that it's great to be in the Empire today.